Mysterious and creepy places can be found all around the world. And the Caribbean is no different. The scariest places in the Caribbean prove that this group of paradise islands aren't just sun, sea, and sand, but also some ominous aspects as well. But what's so creepy about the Caribbean? When you think of the Caribbean, we're absolutely sure the first thing that comes to mind is not ghost stories or witches, though they certainly have their fair share with plenty of scary monsters to be found. However, we're here to tell you that the spirit of Halloween is alive and well in the Caribbean. In fact, the region is absolutely dripping with spooky and mysterious stories. But then, why wouldn't it be? The Caribbean has had a haunted history, studied by tales of slavery, piracy, and voodoo, amongst other things, making it full of super mysterious stories and unexplainable incidents. So, if you are into all things spooky, why not visit one of these super spooky locations on your next trip to one of these islands and experience everything the region has to offer? Still don't believe us? Well, that's fine, because we're going to take you on a magical mystery tour of these spookiest destinations in the region. So, sit back and allow us to be your Crypt Keeper-style narrator for this truly spine-chilling trip through the paradise that will well and truly shiver your timbers. Please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for our future videos. Number 10. Rose Hall Great House, Montego Bay, Jamaica. We start our scary journey at one of the most notable mysterious places in the world. It is widely believed that the magnificent Rose Hall Great House in Montego Bay is haunted by none other than the White Witch. Annie Palmer has the dubious honor of being dubbed the White Witch of Rose Hall by the slaves she tortured and killed in the basement of her great house of horrors. Among countless slaves, 3 of Annie's husbands also fell victim to her bloodlust. The end seemingly came, ironically, at the hands of one of her jilted ex-lover slaves. Yes, you heard that right. She was sleeping with her slaves as well as killing them. Rose Hall Great House looks superb in the Jamaican sun. But at night, it's a different story, as the apparent voodoo ritual meant to seal Annie in her grave was not successfully completed. So, centuries after her death, the ghost of Annie still roams the halls of the plantation house to this day. Visitors to the estate claim to have seen ghostly white figures in the night, and reports of hearing screaming over the bay have also been reported. Number 9. Chase Crypt, Barbados. From witches roaming great houses to coffins that won't stay buried, our list of the scariest places in the Caribbean moves fast. We move to probably one of the most prolific stories ever known, and that is the mystery of the Chase Crypt. In Barbados, you can visit the Christchurch Cemetery and Eerie Chase Crypt if you want to. Belonging to Colonel Thomas Chase and his 2 daughters, the half-buried tomb was bought by the Chase family in 1724. Following the deaths of the colonel and his unfortunate daughters in quick succession, a heavy marble slab was placed in front of the door to their final resting place. The burial team later removed said slab of marble, only to find the family's coffins had been thrashed around the room and were now standing chillingly upright against the wall of the crypt. A team of researchers, when investigating, could find no sign of foul play from man or beast in the tomb or on the slab. So, after recovering from their case of the heebie-jeebies, they buried the coffins again and threw sand all over the floor. Years later, the tomb was checked again, and sure enough, no footprints in the sand, but the coffins had been strewn and stood against the wall again. If you are brave enough, why not visit the crypt at night, as it is said you can hear movements and dragging outside of the crypt under the darkest of the night. That is, if you dare. Number 8. Chacachacare, Trinidad and Tobago. This may sound like a dance you would do at a wedding, but there's a good reason why Chacachacare makes our list of scariest places in the Caribbean. Chacachacare is an island which is part of Trinidad and Tobago, but the fun stops at the name. The island was a former leper colony established by the British government of the colony of Trinidad back in the 1860s. The men and women of the colony were kept separate. They were not allowed visitors from the outside and were forbidden to leave. This is only the beginning of what makes Chacachacare one of the most haunted places in Trinidad and Tobago. During its operation, the colony of lepers who were banished to the island were cared for by nuns, two of whom caught leprosy themselves, and one of them committed suicide. Life for lepers on the island was no easier, with years of deaths, suicides, and other depressing dealings. Fishermen and other witnesses have claimed to have seen ghosts of nuns holding lanterns roaming the cemetery amongst other ghoulish apparitions. Many locals now refuse to go to the island for fear of the spirits. Are you brave enough to go? Number 7. Eden Brown Estate, St. Kitts and Nevis. We go to another Caribbean country, the twin islands of St. Kitts and Nevis, and to the creepy Eden Brown Estate. According to legend, the Eden Brown Estate in Nevis has been a cursed location since a fateful wedding in the 1820s. As with many weddings, this one kicked off big style, but this ruckus happened before the happy couple even hit the chapel. The story goes that on the eve of Julia Huggins' wedding, her groom and his best man, Julia's brother, had an argument and wound up killing each other in the subsequent duel. Julia was said to have been heartbroken and lived out the rest of her days as a recluse. Now people say the ghost of the grief-stricken bride roams the estate, lamenting her sorrow and searching for her lost love. Number 6. Colon Cemetery, Cuba. It may not surprise you that a cemetery makes this list of the creepiest places in the Caribbean, much less the second biggest cemetery in the world. But amongst other spooky stories and gory goings-on, Colon Cemetery is famous for being the home of La Milagrosa. But this story is less scary than others on our list. Trust us. Amelia Gowan died in childbirth in the early 20th century. Tragically, her child died soon after too. Tradition dictated that her child be buried at Amelia's feet. However, when her grave was later exhumed to make room for her loving husband, Amelia's remains were still perfectly preserved, cradling her baby rather than at her feet. Her tomb is one of the most revered sites in Cuba and is also one of the most visited sites in Cuba. Number 5. Tortuga, Haiti. As we move on to the next tale of the Caribbean's macabre past, we have to mention Haiti and the many stories associated with pirates on the island. And there are no better places for pirates than the island of Tortuga. Blackbeard, the ruthless pirate, made plenty of stop-offs in Tortuga. And anyone who's seen the brilliant Pirates of the Caribbean films will know all about the island of Tortuga and its felonious links to piracy. Well, you'll be glad to know that those tales are just movie magic. Tortuga Island lies just off Haiti, and, along with other Caribbean islands, it became a scallywag's haven. Pirates weren't as fantastical as the stories may have you believe. After all, they were all criminals who looted, pillaged, and committed a host of crimes, all for bounty. Tortuga, therefore, became a place that was less than reputable and was host to centuries of heinous crimes and ghastly stories. It's even claimed that Ghost of Blackbeard still haunts places around the islands to this day. Number 4. Haunted Mangrove Lagoon, St. Thomas. Our next stop is not a man-made location, but rather a haunted mangrove lagoon in St. Thomas. While the enigmatic Mangrove Lagoon in St. Thomas is now a protected sanctuary made up of a system of islets populated by red mangroves, the mangrove has a history of being a pirate's hideout. The ghosts of famous pirates like Blackbeard, Bluebeard, Mary Red, and Teach are said to haunt the waterways, and mysterious sounds are said to be heard when you kayak the mangrove at night. Yes, you heard that right. You can kayak the haunted mangrove at night. There are opportunities to kayak along a roughly 2-hour tour through the lagoon, where you begin your experience at sunset at the Mangrove Lagoon Marina and move amongst the mangrove trees as the sun disappears. It is said to be perfectly safe if you go and stay with a guide, but are you brave enough to go alone? If you are feeling really brave, you can climb off your kayak at the islet and explore its trail. It leads all the way to Red Point Blowhole, where you can walk the shallow water beach and watch water spew out of the craggy rocks. Number 3. Ghost Ships, Barbados. Barbados breaks into our list again, but instead of being on the island, our next place is actually in the ocean. Barbados is a great destination for scuba divers, especially scuba divers looking for a creepy and mysterious wreck to visit. You can explore 200-year-old shipwrecks here that are pretty much frozen in time. The spirits of Barbados' underground garrison tunnels, pirates and slaves who were pushed out to sea, still haunt these waters. The ultimate dive is the ghost ship SS Stavronikita, a 365 feet long freighter sunk near Bridgetown in 1978. Divers can go deep inside the wreck, swimming through the creepy calcified corridors into ghostly coral-spotted cabins and cargo rooms, even going as deep as the ship's old engine room. Old furniture and artifacts still float around as a reminder of the ship's past, and some accounts have said to have seen shadowy movements in various rooms on the ship. Or maybe it was a fish. You will have to go and find out yourself. Number 2. The Lost City of Atlantis, Bahamas. Here we have the Lost City of Atlantis. Bear with us on this one. First of all, essentially no one knows where the Lost City of Atlantis is, or if it was even a real place to begin with. Admittedly, that's not the best opening sentence to whet your appetite and encourage you to listen further. But the Lost City of Atlantis still intrigues scientists to this day. There is tangible evidence of Atlantis' existence with the discovery of roads and even pavements below the waves of North Bimini in the Bahamas. Located in the waters just west of the bluff are mysterious, perfectly aligned square stone blocks called the Bimini Road. This orderly row of stones is 15 feet long and is believed to have been part of the road system of the lost continent of Atlantis. Some researchers say that the site's appearance is identical to a harbor construction in the Mediterranean Sea that has also been submerged in a similar time period, built in the same time period by the same maritime people. You can scuba dive here and explore this ghostly underwater road. Just be sure not to venture too far, or you might not return. Before we get to number 1, if this presentation was of some value to you, we would greatly appreciate it if you would give this video a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for our next video. Thank you. Number 1. Akodessewa Fetish Market, Haiti. We finish our list of creepy Caribbean places on a slightly more normal note, or as normal as is possible for this subject. We go back to Haiti to highlight the Akodessewa Fetish Market, or Marche des Féticheurs. Akodessewa Fetish Market is a kind of super supply market where you can find anything from leopard heads and human skulls to voodoo priests who bless fetishes, predict the future, and make medicines to heal whatever ails you. When you think of voodoo, your mind probably thinks of dolls and magic, and you are partly right. But there is much more to voodoo than just that. Voodoo is one of the most popular religions in the area, combines elements of Roman Catholic rituals with traditional African magical and religious rites, and is characterized by sorcery and spirit possession. The Akodessewa Fetish Market is a place of notoriety and prominence for the voodoo religion, and is located right in the heart of the capital, Port-au-Prince. Here you can find talismans and charms, good for treating everything from the flu or infertility to removing the blackest of curses. So if you need some spiritual protection and are not easily creeped out, then Akodessewa Fetish Market is where you should be. While the Caribbean is still a stunningly beautiful place, awash in spectacular sunshine and fresh air, there are clearly some more ominous parts of the region. Picture-perfect beaches, azure seas, and verdant landscapes give way to murkier images if you are prepared to look. The connection to the occult in the scariest places in the Caribbean ensures the region remains one of the most vibrant and interesting in the world. Its felonious past has actually helped the Caribbean become even more fascinating than before. So, the next time you find yourself amongst the sun, sea, and sand, why not take a tour of one of the scariest places in the Caribbean and welcome a little piece of horror into your travels? Have you been to any of these creepy and mysterious places? If so, why not let us know in the comment section below and mention any places you think we may have forgotten. Don't forget to also like, subscribe, share our channel with others, and turn on the notification bell for our next video as we explore the Caribbean together.
This is Dry Caribbean. Thanks for watching.